requirement and this advice of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to protect their offspring even before they're born from shaitan. How many parents do you think? How many parents do even remember this dua, or if not the dua, at least the translation of this dua at the time that they are being intimate with their wives? If I was to guess, I would say it would be a very, very low percentage. If I was to guess that 90% of the parents don't think about it. You know the consequence of this? The consequence of this is all around us. Obviously, when shaitan has already taken his share from an even unborn child, that child will be born with some part of, some effect, some influence of shaitan in him. Now, I'm just going to give you the examples of non-Muslim right now. If you see the kids around you in Western culture, non-Muslim culture, what do you find them mostly doing these days? They don't show any care for anybody. They don't show any respect for anybody. They are selfish. They are self-absorbed. They're greedy. They are vicious. They harm people. The stories of kids getting their guns, going to the school and shooting up other kids and shooting up the teachers, and kids going to marketplaces, shooting up people. No good reason. No good reason at all. Why? Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says in a hadith, the meaning of which is that every child is born on fitrah. Every child is born good. And then his parents, pay attention, then his parents turn him into either a Christian or Jews or a pagan or whatever else. The beginning of that happens when a mother and a father having intimacy and not seeking the protection of child from the children that Allah would bless them with. These kids that we see around us, and unfortunately, may Allah forgive us all, these are not just non-Muslim kids. You just look at Muslim kids, and these days, what do you find them doing? Many of them are trying very hard to make haram halal. Many of them do things that everybody else is doing, and there's no conscience in them to say, no, wrong. This is evil. No, I should not do this. There are very few kids are like this anymore. When the shaitan has already touched you and took his share from you, you most likely are going to show his influence in your rest of your life. Please remember that. This is no mystery. This is no theory. We see it around us all the time. Am I right, kids? You go to schools, do you see these things amongst the kids? That doesn't mean they're not good kids. There are some very good kids as well. But generally, those kids will be those kids that parents took responsibility of protecting them from shaitan. So this is a very, very important point. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught us how pious parents pray when the mother becomes pregnant. So we talked about intimacy, and now we're talking about mother becoming pregnant. What do pious parents do according to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and in the Quran? Allah told us what pious people do when their child is now born. And I'm going to read the verse of Quran. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم هو الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وجعل منها زوجها ليسكن إليها فلما تغشاها حملت حملا خفيفا فمرت به فلما أثقلت دعوى الله ربهما لئن آتيتنا صالحا لنكونن من الشاكرين صدق الله العظيم. Allah says, it is He who created you from a single person and made from him its mate, that he may find comfort with her. Then we has intimacy with her. She conceives a light load and she carries it around. But when she has grown heavy, they pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, their Lord, O Lord, Ya Allah, if you bless us with a pious child, we will be among the grateful ones. Allahu Akbar Kabira. How many people, pious people these days, even think about making this dua when their wife is heavy with pregnancy and is about to deliver a child? Any guesses? Very few. They will probably happy, coming up with celebrations for the birth of the child. But they will never think, or seldom think, or hardly think about praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless him with a pious child. May Allah give us tawfiq. So now the child is born. What is the parent's responsibility? You see, it's all each step of the way, the parents have some obligations and responsibility. When a child is born, the Prophet ﷺ taught us to call adhan in his right ear and iqama in his left ear, which I believe that most families, most parents, inshallah do. This is a way to baptize the child into Islam. This is a way to introduce the child to Islam. Adhan is about what? What is adhan about? Calling to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when a child is born and you recite in his right ear and left ear, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. The child is an infant. The child may not understand your words, but the child would have the effect of Allahu Akbar. That Allah is the greatest. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. I bear witness that there's no God but Allah. You are imprinting those beliefs right at the birth of the child, which will live with him for the rest of his life. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. I testify that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his servant and prophet. Hayya ala salah, hayya ala falah. Rush towards praying. Rush towards success. Don't take these things lightly. These are very, very important first step to familiarize the child with Islam and the beliefs of Islam, to put the roots in him, to put the roots in the child's mind and heart about what he is all about. The roots of the right beliefs. Then, therefore, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked us to give your child a good name. How many of us these days thinking about good names? I hear some weird names. Weird names that, because I work with people all the time. Remember, guys, and listening sisters, names also have an effect on the person. Names also have an effect on the person. For example, my name is Sadiq. Sadiq means what? The person who speaks the truth. It always strikes me when I am speaking to make sure I'm speaking the truth as best as I know it. And I'm not lying. Each name that a parent gives to his children has most definitely an effect on the child's life. But like I said, these days, people completely ignore this. I have come across some weird names I'm going to share with you. Take, for example, a name of a guy called Shahnan. Shahnan. Let's see what it means. Shah means, Shah means, Shah. Shah means king, right? Shah means king. Shahin Shah, for example, we say, right? Shah means king. Nan means none. So his name translates the king Nan, the big Nan. Subhanallah. Look this one. A girl's name Ammara. Ammara. Ammara is with alif in Arabic, Nafsul Ammara. And Ammara means what? Mischievous. Ammara means what? Mischievous. Think about the name of a girl, Laylatul Qadr. Laylatul Qadr, the name of the girl. Think of the name Shajar. What does Shajar means? Tree. Think of the name Muntaha, the highest place. These, we have to be really careful as to how we name our children. And these days in some cultures, there is a craziness about my child's name should be so unique that nobody should have it. I want to find the most unique name that nobody else has it. And they find most absurd names just because of that. And you hear it says, what does that mean? It says, don't know. We thought that this was a unique name. Some have the craze of naming their kids after famous movie stars and film stars. And there may be some Hindu names and Christian names, but they just want to idolize those people. You know what? You may not know this. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when people started to come to Islam, the new converts, when he found somebody's name inappropriate, he would change their names. He would ask them to change their names. And there are many, many examples of this in a hadith. Let's go further. Now the child is born, and you have baptized him into Islam. Every child after birth is physically and emotionally bonded to his mother or her mother. Because this child lived in the mother's womb for 9 months, was fed from her blood, grew in her womb, was affected by everything the mother did. Therefore, when the child is born, the infant baby is very closely bonded to his mother, physically and emotionally. Therefore, the mother has a bigger responsibility to raise the child in those early years. because the fathers are not capable at this time to look after this infant baby. The fathers are not meant to do this. Therefore, they don't have the brains and the kindness and the ability to figure out how to look at an infant baby. The mother takes that primary responsibility. And it's the mother's responsibility then, in those early years, to raise the child to the best of her abilities to raise him or her as a good Muslim. She has to provide a good example and training for the child's early beliefs and character. This is why it is said that the mother's lap is the first school of every child. Unfortunately, this responsibility is neither properly understood nor fulfilled by the mothers these days. Am I right? We have examples of this all around us in our families, friends, and in our social gatherings. The mothers are mostly concerned about feeding the child, keeping the child clean, and entertaining him. Am I right? Mostly, they are preoccupied with this. Mostly primarily with feeding and making sure the child is clean and not in distress. But outside of that, as the child begins to grow, the mom has to go into the kitchen and cook. She will put the child or the daughter in front of the TV, or now an iPad, or an iPhone, and put some music or cartoons for him to see. Am I right? This is very, very, very common. And the mother will say, well, I have to work. Of course you have to work. But why put your child in front of the TV or give him the phone? Because of this, 2 years old children, 1 year old children can manage the phones much better than their mothers. My youngest granddaughter is now, mashallah, 4 years old. She knows about how to manipulate phones and what to do more than me. She has little fingers. She knows which button to push to do what. What are we teaching them? Good akhlaq, good iman, good character. What are we teaching them? Where are our responsibilities? If these children, wallahi, if these children grow up and don't respect their parents, I don't blame them. Because they were never told, they were never taught the love of the mother, the care of the mother, the respect of the parents. They were never taught. What are fathers preoccupied with? Providing for them. Best of the food, best of the houses, best of the everything. And they take the rest of the responsibility to run the household and raising the kids is mother's, not mine. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, Ya ayyuhal lazina amanu qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. Believers, save yourself and your family members from hellfire. Is this how we're saving them? Is this how we're saving them? The consequences of not taking these things seriously are dire, bad consequences. We have to take this responsibility very seriously. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the meaning of which is, respect your children and be kind to them. Subhanallah. How does a father or mother respect a child? How does a father or mother respect a child? Number one, by being kind and attentive to them. Even if a baby cries or it looks upset, a respectful parent would think of it, my child is hurting. My child is in distress. If my child is throwing a temper tantrum, he's telling me that he's angry. Am I right? If a child is throwing a temper tantrum, my child is telling me that I'm angry. What are we supposed to do? Yell at them? Punish them? Slap them? Curse them? What do we do? This is what we do generally. We yell at them. We may slap them. Say, stop doing this. We may take them by the arm and put them in a room. This is showing respect to our kids? No. How would you show respect to a child who is throwing temper tantrum? First of all, understand that this child is not making your life hell. This child is angry about something. Am I right? No children are born bad. This 4-year-old or 5-year-old is throwing a temper tantrum, is telling you that he's not happy with you. He's not happy with something. You sit down in front of the child and you look at him and say, son, you really look angry. Honey, what's bothering you? Wallahi lazim. What I say is very simple. Do it, and you will see the child immediately stop and look at you because he's not used to. He's used to being slapped. He's used to being yelled at. He's used to being pulled in by the hand and put in a room. He's going to be pleasantly surprised. He says, what's wrong with the dad today? If a child has to talk to you, you don't say, okay, later, I'm busy right now. If you look at your phone, yeah, what is it? Don't bring me, just tell me right away what is it. That's not showing the respect. When a child comes to you, he's looking something from you. He's asking for something from you. If you at that time don't give him a listening ear and say, yes, son, sweetheart, what is it? Tell me. I'm busy though, but tell me, how can I help? Do you need something help? Do you need something? That child will respect his father and his mother. That child would not ignore the mother and father when they want to talk to him. This is how we respect our children. We respect our children by meeting their needs in a halal way, legitimately, and making sure that we don't let them teach them or make an example of ourselves of a bad character, of a bad deed. This is also in respect of the children. I don't want my kid to see me yelling at the mother. I don't want my dad to be my mom to be yelling at my mother. You know what? This has so much effect on a child. Right now, I'm dealing with a 21-year-old guy. I've been dealing with him since he was 14, so almost 7 years. He suffers from a very severe anxiety disorder. Very severe anxiety disorder. And he has these blasphemous thoughts in his mind. That he doesn't love the Prophet, that he doesn't love the Allah, that he's out of Islam, etc., etc., etc. I was talking to him 2 days ago. He's somewhere in Saudi Arabia. And I said, son, What stresses you that much that you cannot manage your thoughts properly? I teach you how to manage these blasphemous thoughts and these threatening thoughts in your head. I teach you all the time how to manage them. Why can't you do it? He said, you know what? To be honest with you, I'm pretty stressed at home. Okay. Now I know that with the stress, these problems will get worse. So why are you stressed? Mom and dad yelling at each other all the time. Never been happy with each other. They get mad and they take their anger out on me. I'm always in the shooting range with them if they have a problem. They blame me for each other's problems. They've never gotten along with each other. And when my dad is about to hit my mom, I get up and get in between to protect my mother. And I'm afraid that I'm going to get hit. He's 21 years old. And I've been seeing him since he was 14. These things stay with you. Parents need to understand this. Parents should not take it lightly. Yes, of course, there's going to be differences between mom and dad. Yes, there's going to be conflicts between mom and dad. Yes, that's normal. But you have to always be respectable to each other. To show your children how to be respectful. To show your children when we have conflicts how to resolve them. Allahu Akbar. When a child reaches 7 years of age, parents are supposed to teach him how to pray. Am I right? It's commonly known. Mothers are supposed to teach the daughters, and fathers are supposed to teach the sons. By 10, if the child is not praying or being lazy about it, they can even be harsh with him. I'm not saying beat them up. Please don't misunderstand me. They can show their displeasure to the child that they're not happy with them. Now again, look at this situation right now. MashaAllah, 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 MashaAllah. We have lots of children coming to the masjid now, am I right? Alhamdulillah. How many children do you see that are all enthused and motivated to pray? Many come and play outside. And they are not babies. They are anywhere age 7 and above, maybe 8 and above. Anywhere between 8 and 12, 13, playing around outside. Or if they're standing in the saf, as soon as the Imam says, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah, like they're out of the cage. When you open the cage, the bird flies out. Have their parents taught them to pray properly? If the parents are praying and the kids are playing outside, what are the parents thinking? Are they okay? Are they okay with it? It's just a child. It's just a child. No, you can't. No, you can't. It is your responsibility to make sure that you teach him how to pray, that you teach him the adab of prayers, and adab of masjid, and the adab of salah, and the adab of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the adab of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You have to teach it this. There is no way out of it. Now let me go back. How do you teach a child to pray? Age 7. You teach a child to pray at home by regularly praying at home yourself. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, you go to the masjid for first prayer. It is better for you to pray your sunnah and nawafil at home. Am I right? It is better to pray your sunnah and nawafil at home. You come to masjid to pray the farz. Why is that? So that at home you're also praying to be an example for your little kids. So you can have the kids say, come on, sweetheart, stand beside me, we're going to pray. Kids imitate the parents. Kids learn what they learn by imitating the parents. My 4-year-old, when she sees her mother praying, she says, where's my hijab? Where's my hijab? She finds it, puts it on the way she can, and she stands beside my daughter and prays with her. She is growing up with this. This is how you teach him. How many parents take it seriously? They think it's good enough. They did their job. They brought the kid to the masjid, let them play outside and distract everybody else. They did their job. Lots of parents take the kids to Islamic school. Oh, I'm safe now. He's in Islamic school. Their responsibility, my responsibility over. They can teach him good character. They can teach him prayer. They can teach him everything. I did my job. I'm paying for it, isn't I? Don't I? And their responsibility is over. Guys, the topic today, last time the topic today was for the kids. And say, you better watch out and be respectful to your kids. Today's, you better watch out, parents. And make sure that you are ready to be held accountable in the day of judgment as to how you raised your kids. You know, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in one hadith, the meaning of which is, the greatest gift a father can give to his child is adab. The greatest gift a child can give to his child is adab. What is adab? Manners. Good manners. Am I right? Adab is good manners. And this is the greatest gift that a parent can give to a child. And how are you going to do this? Again, through example. If you don't live by an example, you cannot teach the child that good behavior when you are not doing it. Lecturing the kids doesn't help. You can bring the kids to all kinds of conferences and let them hear to all the shuyukh. They may understand something, they may not understand anything, and you think you did the job. Kids follow the examples of the parents. If the parents are not living a respectful life with good manners, the kids will never. Now let me come to disciplining. We are supposed to discipline our kids. We are required to, which is what part of the other. How do we discipline the kids? By punishing them? By beating them up? By yelling at them? By telling them they're going to go to hell? How do we teach them? We teach them very kindly, teaching them what's a good behavior and what is bad. Why is some behavior good and why is some behavior bad? Because the kid doesn't know. Why is something good or why is something bad? The kid doesn't know. You don't have to just tell him this is wrong or this is right, this is bad. You have to tell him why it is good or it is bad. Parents, please understand. Discipline that is imposed from outside will never stay. You know that if you did something that your father asked you not to, and if you don't obey him, you're going to get hit. If he's around, you'll do it. Let dad go, then we can play. When dad is out, we can play. Right now, leave it out because you're going to get punished. See, it doesn't stay. It does not stay. You have to instill the discipline into the child. So, see, he from within knows what is right and what is wrong. And it's not always disciplining. You know, would you believe that Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when he met the kids, he gave them salam? How many of us ever bother about giving a salam to a child? We just ignore them. But this was his sunnah. And the kids of Medina loved him so much that when he arrived in town, they would just rush all around his camel and 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 he would pick them up and put them in front of the camel. And he would joke around with them. He would have fun with them. That's how parents should be. They should also have fun with their kids. They should also have playing around with the kids. They should not always be serious. Oh, the guy that punishes, the mean guy. No, you don't have to be the mean guy. You have to be a respectful guy, a respecting guy, a loving, kind father. That's what you need to be. Allahu Akbar Kabira. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, be merciful to your children. One time, this is a hadith narrated by Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. Allah's Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was kissing his granddaughter Hassan radiallahu anhu. He had two grandsons, right? You know that? Two grandsons from Fatima radiallahu anhu. Hassan and Hussein. Hassan and Hussein radiallahu anhu. He loved them. So he was one time holding his grandson Hassan and playing with him and kissing him. And a Bedouin came and washed him. He said, Ya Rasulullah, I have 10 children and I have never kissed any one of them. Whereupon Rasulullah responded and said, he who does not show mercy would not be shown mercy to him. He who does not show mercy towards the children, no mercy would be shown to him. In another hadith, similar hadith, he responded by saying, what can I do if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taken the mercy out of your heart for children? How many parents, when they come home, their kids are so excited. Then they run around and they kiss him and says, Dad, you're home. Wow, mashallah. How are you doing? And he picks him up and kisses them, hugs them. How many parents? How many fathers? Where are you? I just came home. I'm tired. Get rid of these kids. Just do something with them. Leave me alone for a while. What is this? That's how they come home. Astaghfirullah. The bottom line is, kids and the parents, we are obligated. We have duties towards our children, and we will be held accountable towards them. We don't want to be in the day of judgment asked to account for a child who was born on fitrah, and how is it that you turn him into a majus, a non-believer, an atheist, a devil worshipper, a homosexual? How did you manage to get him to do this? And we will have to be accountable for that. Mind you, All kinds of things that the kids are exposed to, the parents don't control. What we don't control, we're not going to be held accountable for this. But what is in our control, we are going to be held accountable for it. And like I said, belief systems, proper beliefs, are ingrained into the child's mind when he is young, under 7 years of age. Basic beliefs are ingrained into this child. And then the only thing that's left is help him learn to practice it. May Allah give us the wisdom to understand as parents our responsibilities and understand that there's no way out of it. We are going to be held accountable. As we expect our children to respect us, our children must expect their parents to fulfill their obligations towards them. And they would not be wrong. And that would not be disrespectful. There's a lot to be said, and there's no time. But I hope that I delivered the message. May Allah give us the wisdom to understand it, to take it to heart, and to live by it. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa alihi wa sahbihi sallam. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك استغفر الله واتوب اليه ربنا تقبل منا صلاتنا وقيامنا وركوعنا وسجودنا ودعانا يا ارحم الراحمين ربنا تقبل منا انك انت السميع العليم وتب علينا انك انت التواب الرحيم ربنا اتنا في الدنيا حسنه وفي الاخره حسنه وقنا عذاب النار وقنا عذاب القبر وقنا عذاب الحشر وقنا عذاب الميزان ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي رب ارحمهما كما ربياني صغيرا اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات صلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين.